This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro. This is Matt Conrad.
And this is Mike Tobin.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. Cheers.
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 There we go.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad, and who do we have here?
I'm Jake Sanford.
Jake
All right.
Sanford. What's going on, man?
Not too much. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
This is a little bit awkward because Jake is a former Yankee, and I'm sitting here in my Red Sox jersey, my vintage Ted Williams Red Sox jersey. If anybody knows baseball, probably the greatest rivalry in North American sports is Yankees versus Red Sox. Unfortunately, the Yankees, have won a lot more titles than the Red Sox, but Boston sports versus New York sports is always a really big rivalry. So I had to represent. As much as I really want to have a chat with Jake, I had to represent my team. Right now, one interesting fact that I found out leading up to this is the Red Sox was his team prior to getting drafted by the enemy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you know what, Jake? We can kind of like bounce right into like kind of how you grew up and all that stuff, because it's my understanding that you were like a multi-sport athlete growing up.
Yeah, I played pretty much everything. Baseball, hockey, football growing up, volleyball. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
If I remember reading correctly, you actually got a scholarship for volleyball.
Yeah, the Dow.
Yeah.
But then I chose to go to the JUCO route for baseball in Nebraska. So.
I mean, it makes sense. Tall dude, right? All that stuff, good shape, everything. So volleyball makes a lot of sense. But and I mean, a lot of times to get these bursaries and all that stuff like that, you got to be a multi-sport athlete most times. But yeah, you decided to just like kind of hammer in on baseball, eh?
Yeah, for sure. And then so I actually went from hockey and baseball to volleyball and baseball. So I got rid of hockey completely when I was a midget. So.
Okay.
Because the seasons are the same, volleyball and hockey, so it was hard to go with both. And I thought I had a better chance with volleyball and baseball. So
obviously, I mean, you get some offers in both of those fields, so that's pretty interesting. So the going through, so you went to university. It was 2 universities that you ended up playing, right?
Yeah. So I went to junior college, which is a 2-year school. It's called like NSCC. Like you go, it's mostly sports based, so it's all athletes that go there. And so that was in McCook, Nebraska. Went there my first 2 years, and then
Nebraska. How, like, there doesn't seem like there's a whole lot
cornfields
going
and cows.
Yeah,
That's about
it. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot that can really go on there. But I mean, I guess that makes a really good opportunity for an athlete to focus on being an athlete.
For sure, yeah. So everybody in the school lived in the dorm. Like there was only a school of like 300 students. We all lived in the same dorm, and then
so that was the university then.
Junior college, yeah.
Junior college, okay.
That's a lot of like how baseball players like from here especially go first, because big D1 schools aren't really like scouting around here as much. Junior college, and another thing, because we don't like tested on the SATs and everything, you don't have to take that to go to junior college. So
okay.
That's right. Yeah, the whole SAT thing. The schooling system in the U.S. is so weird, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so, I mean, you go through there, then you end up transferring.
After my 2 years there, I got assigned to Western Kentucky University, and that's a Division I in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So, we are in the Conference USA.
So Division I, so obviously a lot more eyes kind of get on you then. I was reading about is Jake is actually the fastest drafted Major League Baseball Nova Scotian. Which is kind of cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and, and like what the fastest is like by age?
The highest, overall. Like each draft has like, well, back when I got drafted, there was 40 rounds. Now, since COVID, they changed it to 20 rounds.
Wow, okay.
But it was the highest draft pick.
Yeah, highest draft pick ever to come out of Nova Scotia. He was drafted in the 3rd round.
Cool.
Which is actually, like,
amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, third round in any league is a big deal. As he said, like they've changed it. Back in the day, I used to make the joke all the time that baseball has so many rounds of drafting. Everyone is drafted in the Major League Baseball. Everyone has rights. Someone probably has your rights playing on the community softball, because that's how many rounds that they have.
Like before that, there was even like 70, 80 rounds.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
even when I was there was 1,200 people each year.
1,200,
and that's only like America and Canada.
Wow.
Like that's because they have the international draft too.
That's right.
So
Crazy.
So I'm a Patriots fan and obviously a Red Sox fan. So Tom Brady, the GOAT, was drafted by the Expos. He was going to be a catcher, and he was like, they were ready to offer him a contract, and he decided, like, I like football a little bit more. I want to focus on football. He grew up in Montana, like idolizing Montana, so he wanted to play football. Obviously worked out for the guy. That being said, now that he's retired, I kind of laugh a little bit. I'm like, he should just go and try to get a World Series just to like.
Yeah, there's so many football players that get drafted in the MLB. Kyler Murray as well.
Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson.
He got drafted by the Yankees, or no, by the Rockies actually.
He got drafted by the Rockies,
and then he played in spring trading.
With
the Yankees. Actually, I was there. I think I was there that spring training.
No way.
When he was playing.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, Russ is like, I know he's had some ups and downs since leaving Seattle, but on Denver. But dude's an athlete. Dude's gonna be.
Oh, for sure.
He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, like for sure. I mean, I think so. But yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
right?
some of the people you see and meet during spring training is just pretty awesome.
Do you remember the age where you were like, this might be it? I could actually do this. Do you remember like how old you were?
Probably, I think when I was in like grade 11 or 12. Yeah. Like I went to a tournament put on by Roberto Alomar in Toronto.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was tournament 12, so we played at the Rogers Center for a week.
Sweet.
And it was like all kids all over Canada. So
you realize I think I got this. Like, you seen them and you were kind of stacked up and you could
for sure
dominate.
Obviously, there were people from Quebec and Ontario and everything. Their teams were a lot bigger than ours, but
yeah. And like, were your parents strongly influential in getting you on? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like when because when I went to McCook, Nebraska, the junior college, my first year, I didn't have any scholarship or anything, so I went out there.
That's right. Yeah, you did walk on.
Yeah, I was a walk on. I didn't even know if I was going to make the team.
Yeah.
I didn't go visit the school or anything. I just flew out to Nebraska, and then my parents were there for a week and dropped me off, and then just said to After the first semester, I got the scholarship for the next 3, and then just went from there.
Cool. Yeah.
Talk about taking a risk on your abilities, though, right? Like, he's just like, I'm going to go to Nebraska, not like, something safe, like, I'm New York, or, go to California or something like that, big state or something like that. It's like, I'm going to go to the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to just show these guys I can ball out.
Yeah, town of 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Not much going on. So
I
just had to focus on baseball, really.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that's kind of cool. You took a chance on yourself. Obviously, you did well there. Went up, to a D1 level. And you kind of, if I remember correctly, like you met some influential like coaches and some people there that kind of really helped you get to that next level, right?
Yeah, for sure. John Pulowski, he's actually one of the coaches that coached Brett Gardner. So
cool, yeah.
So the story about Brett Gardner that he just kept coming back to the tryouts because he never made it, and he came back, and then so that's why when I got drafted, they were comping me with him.
Yeah, throwing you in there, obviously, fellow
even though I'm a little bit bigger than him.
Yeah.
But it's lots of influential coaches, like my junior college coach as well. Like I didn't know what was going to happen, like I didn't know him at all, like so, and then he basically took me under his wing, and then just let me ball out, really.
But having someone that's in a D1 sports can obviously be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. And then my coach at Western, he pitched in the MLB for 9-10 years, so he had lots of people, like a lot of connections. So it was good to have that.
Getting drafted. So I kind of have 2 questions when it comes to that. First of all, what's the feeling like to know, like, you're like, holy smokes, I made it? Obviously, if you're growing up a Red Sox fan, getting drafted by the Yankees, like, obviously it's a historic. You can't take away from the legendary status of the Yankees. It's amazing. Yeah. But at the same time, you grow up kind of hating that team. That'd be like me getting drafted by the Eagles.
Yeah. So like, I'll just start from pretty well midway through the season. Like when I was getting drafted, like I started off the season a little slow, no home runs, whatever, the first 2 weeks, and it's like, okay, we go down to Florida. I hit my first home run of the year. like we had like a preseason tournament. We played against Tennessee, so like pretty big Division I school, and I hit my first home run against them. And then that whole week we were there we played 5 or 6 games. I think I hit 5 home runs that week. Oh. So like then I started going a little roll, and then by the end of March I had up to 19 home runs. So
you're really on a roll there.
Yeah. So that's when I started getting noticed, and then my coach, he like reached out to me when we got back, and he was just like, "Yeah, I think you should get like an advisor, like because you weren't allowed to have an agent at that point."
That's right. That's college rules and all that stuff. Yeah.
But so he hooked me up with an advisor, and then the next week I started meeting with like every team. They all came in like to like the clubhouse and everything. I had to have meetings with them. Like I met with every team. It was crazy. So they come in, they ask you a bunch of questions like about your family and everything as well, and then do all these different tests. Like they all have eye tests, like everything. So, but I met with all of them, and then come draft day, there was between 2 teams, the Rockies and the Yankees. So the Rockies, they wanted me, but my advisor said, like he was talking to them, he wouldn't really let me talk to them. So but then I ended up the next thing I know, I was watching the draft tracker. So like before the draft, like it's on TV and on like the online tracker. So my name came up on the tracker first, so I knew. And then when they announced my name, it was pretty awesome. Like
cool.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2019.
2019. This is recent.
Yeah. So I was back at school actually in Western Kentucky. So. With my teammates and my coaches and everything, so it was pretty cool. We watched it on TV.
Cheers to that. Let's get
cheers to that.
We've never done a bid cheers before, so that's a good accomplishment, man.
Well, from what I understand, they had a cheers that evening as well.
Yeah, just a little one.
Okay, start one on, did you?
Well, yeah. From what I understand, the champagne party or something like that was what was used.
Okay.
I don't think they were 21 yet, though.
Oh, I was barely.
You were Canadian, dude. You're fine. You got the pass. You're good.
Honestly, yeah, true. Like he's Canadian. It's
he's
like
Canadian.
Come on. We've been doing this for a couple of years now.
That was the worst part about going to school. You could come home at Christmas time.
That must be an advantage of going down there, though. Drink with them boys. You've had stronger beer, and you've been at it for a couple of years.
They can't handle it.
You're like,
can't
let's
keep
go,
up.
boys.
Yeah, exactly. He can go out drinking one night and then go to a home run derby and still hit him out. Right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that was the advantage. So what I thought was interesting when I was kind of reading through some stuff too about you is what I thought was an interesting point that I don't think a lot of people that really follow baseball or really understand what it's like to kind of go be you and to go through all this stuff is the compliment on your baseball IQ. Right, and you hear a lot about sports IQ, QB, like quarterbacks get IQ and awareness and all that stuff.
So this is the first time I ever heard the term baseball IQ for the kind of light sports guy. Like so this is just. I mean, I'm assuming it's just kind of like
Jake can explain it. Obviously, he's the athlete.
So explain like what is a baseball IQ to folks that want to know.
Basically, it's just like knowing the game beside like just the rules and stuff. Just like I don't know. It's like. Because, like he's saying, our summers are so short here. We play for 2 months. Right. So, like, I used to joke around and say, I'm like 1,000 games behind everybody else. So,
yeah.
So, like, how we play hockey all year around here. Like, in the States, they don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, like, it's kind of the same thing here. Like, I just basically just learned the game quick. Like, just the ins and outs of it, like, and it's just not just the rules and everything.
And not just that, you studied it and you dedicated yourself to it. And you probably spent every waking moment learning baseball and knowing the ins and outs.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were well ahead in that knowledge.
Like maybe not on the field, like not getting on-field reps, but like everything else. Like being in a cage and being. Because everything's indoors here.
Yeah, everything's indoors. And actually, I've met you once before, kind of just in passing, and I think it was actually right after you get drafted. You came back here, and it was at the warehouse. Actually, not far from here. We're in Sackville. We're at Old Biddy's. We should say that. We're formerly Old Biddy's, now Great Roads Brewing. So just down the road is the warehouse. And so that's the first time I met you. I didn't really get to like talk to you much. I was standing around in a circle, and other people were asking a bunch
of... and everything around.
Well, there was no. It was an adult. It was an adult night.
Okay.
It was batting practice for adults or something like that. I was there, and you came in. And everyone obviously recently drafted, so everyone scattered to you. And sure enough, I was like, Yankee, I don't care. But you came in, and obviously I went over and listened to some of the things you had to say, but most people were talking to you about stuff like that, and obviously very excited. I mean, you're from here. Mm-hmm. It's something to be excited about. It's not a whole lot of Nova Scotians playing in Major League Baseball, so it's kind of cool.
Is there any now?
No.
I don't think so, actually.
There's a bunch of younger guys coming up, like, in school right now. So,
you think there'll be a couple of Scotians in here in the future? Sorry.
Hopefully, yeah.
Cool.
There's a couple in Division One, and then and then there's some in junior college right now as well.
So you're trying to fight way back into the MLB?
For
Is
sure.
that the goal?
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
26.
26. Yeah. So there's time.
For sure.
Oh, tons of time.
Yeah, tons of time.
Honestly, like really, when it comes down to it, because of the development in like baseball, it's not like hockey. Like you can be 18 years old and you are literally the star of the team. Connor Bedard, like
for sure,
just boom, right? Like Bedard and all these guys. Sidney Crosby, same thing.
Baseball's so much different. It's like
so much different.
Like how?
It's like baseball, like, and I guess in hockey, you go like the AHL or you go to Mooseheads or something like that. You're right up there. One team. In the minor leagues, there's Dominican Summer League team, so that's like the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So there's like,
you know where I got my knowledge
teams
from on baseball is Kenny Powers. You ever watch
Kenny Powers?
Yeah. Like I watched all that, learned about all the other leagues in Mexico.
Yeah,
and
there's
all
so many.
Yeah.
So there's like Dominican Summer League. There's 2 teams down there. There's Florida's like state league. So that's like below everything. Like that's like the first team you get when you get to America, like all the Dominicans and everything like that, they start there. And then there's low A, high A, double A, triple A, and big leagues.
Holy smokes.
So like each organization has like 500 or 600 players that they have to look after.
Oh my God.
Like starting all the way down like in the academy in the Dominican, like there's like 300 or 400 people that live down there.
There's dudes probably at every level just fighting other ways.
There's like 16-year-old Dominicans living down there playing, and then everybody getting drafted here. So
So where it's different is like in football, you have to play 3 years in the university. Basketball, they make you go to university. LeBron James was the last person drafted out of high school. They don't do it anymore. So they force you to go to these universities, and essentially like you're still thrown into like being a star a lot of this times, right? Baseball, it's a lot of development. Right?
Are there rising stars in baseball at a university the same way there would be a basketball player?
Yeah, but they still don't go to the big leagues right away. Like the first rounders, like the last 5 years, they played like 2 years in the minors before they made it up. Like Aaron Judge, he played 6 years in the minor leagues before he went to the big leagues.
And Aaron Judge is a monster.
And just as a guy where's the money start? Like, does it really only start in the major leagues, or can you get to?
Yeah, pretty well. Unless like when you get drafted, you get a signing bonus as well if you're drafted high enough. Like it depends. There's like a signing pool. So yeah, but if you're drafted in the last round, like I know a guy that signed for $1,000 on a plane ticket. It was just like, and that was to get rid of it. Like that was like his junior year, or senior year. Yeah. So like he was just, I just want to play.
Yeah.
So like, you never really know what's gonna happen. Like, but yeah, you don't start making like in the minor leagues when I was there, it was like I don't know, like $14,000 a year.
Okay.
And it's only paid in the summer. You don't get paid all in the off season or anything. And spring training, the whole I went to spring training like early camp they call it. So I went there in January. Spring training doesn't actually start till March. I'm there from January till the end of March, not getting paid.
Okay.
So it's just like.
So Matt, when Matt and I talked about this, he was kind of like, Jake Sanford, you don't know the story? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Right, and I'm pretty oblivious to sports, and it's not that I don't have appreciation for them. I really do, actually, and I enjoy watching sports and stuff. I'm just, pretty laid back. But to this day, I don't really know the story of what happened here. So you got on the Yankees, and maybe tell me a bit about the start on the Yankees to where it all ended, like what happened.
Actually, specifically dive down because I know I read the story about how you walked into the training room or whatever, and the first 2 people you meet is Aaron Judge and Stanton.
Yeah.
Okay. So
which are huge. Right?
I really want to hear this whole story from your words.
I remember, the first day that I got picked up at the airport, I got a text. It was the clubby guy. He was picking me up. He's like, "Okay, we're gonna bring you to the minor league side and just get your locker and everything ready." And then, I get there. They drop me off, or he drops me off. He walks in the medical room, and then he's like, "Oh, here's your 3rd rounder." And then all the medical staff, they just congratulated me and everything. And then, next thing I look over, it's Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton just getting stretched out. And
so you're now standing with the gods of baseball.
Yeah, literally those 2 guys. If you're not I know you're not a baseball. I'm telling you, these guys are the 2 biggest names.
How old were you
in the Yankees recently?
In that moment?
That's when I was 21.
21.
Yeah.
Amazing.
21
and
years
I
old.
walk in. Well, Judge is 6'8", so
Yeah.
and then Stan's not that much smaller. He's like 6'5", 6'6".
You're
I'm
like-
6'2".
you're 6'2", okay. I think you were taller than me.
But yeah, it was crazy just to meet them.
Amazing.
And then I got done with everything and that, and then I was sitting down on the couch waiting for everybody else to arrive, and and then Judge came down and he introduced himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm Aaron." I'm like, "I think I know who you are."
Wow. That's awesome.
And then he sat there, and a couple of the other guys came in, and we were sitting there on the couch, and he sat down for 10 minutes and just talked to us.
So it sounds like everybody was really kind off the jump.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and just kind of welcomed you, made you feel at home.
Yeah, they obviously didn't want to be there right then because this was in June when I got drafted. So mid-season they were hurt. So
Right.
But,
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
but yeah, they still kept the spirits high and everything. So
yeah, that's good. That's cool.
because they know like they had to go through it all too. Like especially Judge because he was in the minors for 5-6 years. So like he knows what was going on and everything. So yeah, and then.
Can I ask you this? Was anybody dicks to you off the bat? Was anybody like not nice? Because I just want to know.
Not really.
No, everyone's cool.
Everyone's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah.
There was a couple guys that were pretty. It was pretty funny, but I remember the one time we were actually showering, and then after the big leaguers were done, they came into. Some of them were on our side working out, and then Edwin Encarnacion, when he was back with us, he came in and yelled at all the Dominican guys to get out of the shower because he wanted to shower by himself.
Oh my god.
All double E.
Jeez.
Yeah, but it was that was one of the funny stories. But so after getting drafted and everything, I came home actually for a weekend because I had to get my visa and everything signed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I couldn't actually technically do anything down there. And then before I even got any reps or anything with the Yankees, it was like even spring training or whatever. I got back, and then the next day I got called from the coach, and he said that I'm going to Staten Island.
Oh yeah.
So that was a league that they had before COVID. It was a short season league, so it was like draft players. So it was like all like top 20 round draft picks like went and played there. So I played in Staten Island for that summer, and that was pretty cool. And then I went back to Tampa after that for fall instructional league. So a lot of the big league guys was down there too after the playoffs, just like working out and everything. And then I go back to spring training that next year, and I'm there for the early camp in January, and then we get up to March, and then boom, COVID hits.
Right.
Yeah, worst thing in the world, right?
Right. We were the
But
first
we were just
professional
soaring.
team to actually, first baseball team to have cases in Florida with COVID. So we go there on Friday. And it's like we had to go have a meeting outside or whatever because nobody knew what was going on.
Right.
And then next thing you know, Brian Cashman, the GM, he just comes up and talks to us. He's just like, "Yeah, we're gonna shut it down for the weekend. Go back to your hotels and hang out."
Yes.
And then we all come in Monday, and there was like 15 cases by then.
Wow.
And then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna shut it down for a week."
Yeah.
So we had to stay at our hotel for a week, and then it was funny. Like, every day at 8 a.m., Brian Cashman would knock on our door, bring us meal money. It was like the GM of the Yankees just knocking on our hotel door.
Amazing.
It was
Room
fun.
service.
Yeah. And then, after that, we got shut down for, they said 2 weeks, and then they said nobody could leave the hotel or whatever. And I was like, well, I need to leave so I can get back to Canada at least.
Yeah.
But they still wouldn't let us leave. Like, we were on complete lockdown. So I ended up staying, after the 2 weeks, they let us leave, like, the hotel. And then I ended up going back to Kentucky because the border was already closed that time.
Right.
So there wasn't much I could do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I had a girlfriend at the time, so I lived with her in Kentucky. And, just spent I was there from, like, March until October.
Yeah.
And then my dad, they finally opened up the border for a little bit, and then my dad flew down, and we drove back from there to home. So, and then I had to stay here for 2 weeks, sit in the house, and then right when I got out of the 2 weeks, it was everything was still open, and then one day after that, boom, closed again. So I was on lockdown again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I was just like locked down for like 2 months straight.
Yeah.
Couldn't really do anything, so I had to like make like a hidden cage in my garage and everything. So just couldn't leave the house.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So then obviously, like, you know, there were some issues there. Obviously, over this time, there was some boredom that kind of set in, and you kind of got hooked into gambling is what it kind of comes out
gambling,
to.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So the
Like any drugs too or anything? Was it just gambling?
No, just gambling. Like it was pretty well even like when I was in Florida as well. That's where it wasn't bad. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad because like I had lots of money then.
Right.
Like when I got drafted,
Well,
I signed for
not only that,
$600,000. So
You had something taking a lot of your time up, so
Yeah.
you're not just sitting there, right?
yeah, and the thing was when I was in Florida, it wasn't just me gambling. It was like I have like all my teammates would go. So we would go like after practice. We were like, okay, we're gonna go because we were like 10 minutes from the Hard Rock.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
so
what were you playing?
I just like at first it was slots and everything, and then like after like when I went back to the next spring training, it was they played table games and stuff, just like blackjack and stuff.
Blackjack, poker,
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em, all that?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I never got into sports betting though. So
No. Yeah. That's
probably-
my head was going at first, yeah.
It's probably a good thing
Yeah,
because
for
there's
sure.
there's a lot of athletes getting in trouble with sports betting
Oh,
at
for
this
sure.
point, right?
Yeah.
Athletes are doing sports betting? Are they even
Oh,
That's
allowed?
what
dude,
that's
it's
what
a
happened.
big
Yeah,
problem.
there's so many people getting in trouble. Like the guy in Ottawa.
The guy in
He
Ottawa,
41 game suspension.
he had a 41 game suspension, and the only reason he didn't have an indefinite ban is he managed to prove that it was just his profile, and his friends were actually betting on hockey. So athletes can bet. You cannot bet on your sport. That's the thing. 'Cause
Stay away
obviously-
from your own game.
Stay away from your own game because obviously that gets into point shaving and all this other stuff that can happen
Yeah,
and
for
whatever,
sure.
right? So you're absolutely not allowed to bet on your own sport. So that's a totally different thing, right?
In sports, it's crazy. Like I've seen so many people like, oh, look at this. This is what my bookie does. Like they still have those around. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like it's like offline, like online betting, but it's like not through like a registered website. So it's like
Right.
that's where athletes do it through because it's like, oh, you just send the guy money and then there's like this website you go on or whatever.
So your gambling was like casinos.
Yeah, I never
And then-
actually gambled on my phone or online or anything. It was just always in casinos.
Always in casinos, yeah. So did you do that back home here in Halifax too? Or?
I did a little bit, yeah, but like it was at the point when I was in Florida, like it was bad because like I had like a line of credit and everything. It was just like
what's the thing?
because it was like, oh, this young guy, like the guy had like casino hosts coming up to me like every time, and they're like, oh, we should sign you up for this. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, like you're 21, and they give you almost $1 million Canadian. What do you do? Like, you know what I mean?
This is kind of the thing, actually. Like one of the things that I really want to hammer down on because it's not just baseball; it's all sports. I mean, and honestly, you're in some cases you're giving teenagers or people in their early 20s. It's like, here's $1 million.
Right.
You're a god now, and you went through it, not me, but from a sports fan and like really big sports fan. I don't really know or feel that they really equipped young people to be ready to have a bunch of money and have all this fame, and basically. I'm just thinking, I remember when I was 26 years old and I made $100K for the first time in my life for a year, and I'm thinking, I'm 26 and I just made a bunch of money, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't imagine when, someone gives you $1 million.
Right.
Yeah, they don't talk about yeah, I guess you do
is
learn
there-
stuff in school, but it doesn't really they don't prepare you for that.
No,
They
for
prepare
sure.
you for,
And they don't
regular
give you any
jobs,
kind of
you know.
financial guide when you
When you
like.
say your school,
No,
though,
just hold up. They don't come with any kind of financial guide. So when you get $1 million or whatever to kind of play, it doesn't come part and parcel with. And here's a financial coach that's approved
No,
by
they
some
signed me
board or
because
something
I'm
to help you
Canadian. They
manage your
signed me up with an
stuff.
American debit card, and then they just put I woke up one morning and I had $300K on my debit card.
Wow. Yeah.
It was just
It's a good morning.
Yeah, it's just like what?
But this is the thing is it's not it's very, even to a greater degree, it's almost like when you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Like doctors, if someone's in med school, financial institutions are like, how much money would you like? We'll
Right.
just write you a blank check. Do you want $200,000 to go to school? Awesome, because we know you're going to be a doctor, so we'll get our money back. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's not that much different for you. You were saying casino people were coming up to you and saying oh, professional athlete, you just got $1 million. probably more to come. You're only 21. How much money would you like? How much house credit would you like?
How much do you want?
Right.
Like, yeah, basically, it's like, oh, we'll give you $15,000. You don't even have to bring your debit card to.
What did your and I gotta ask, man, like, what did your parents say and stuff? Like, were they kind of like telling you to be careful with it or trying to help you with it?
Yeah,
for sure. Just kind of like and I mean, respectfully, I understand being young too. We were all there. I'm 40 now, but I was, I was probably a lot less financially responsible when I was in my 20s, right? 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
we were both idiots.
So, no question. But like, so going back, like, you just kind of like mom and dad, you just kind of turned the shoulder and just did your thing, and like kind of like quiet about it.
So like so they do it like the sign bonus in 2 halves. So it was like, so I got 600. So it was like by the time I went in my debit card, it was like, and I think it was in July we got the first half, and then like the next year we got the other second half.
Right.
And it was like 200,000. And then, so the first check, I bought my car, and then I had to pay my agent as well. So that was like almost $100,000 with the car and the agent.
Yeah.
And then the rest, I had to pay off school as well. So for Western Kentucky, I didn't get a full ride, so I had to pay a little bit there. And then after that, I probably had about $100,000 left.
Right.
So I sent my parents, I think I sent them half of it, and then I kept half, which I probably shouldn't have, because that's when I got into that. I was like, because like before I would go to the casino here when I was younger, and it was just like, oh, I have like $500, let's go play that or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there I was like, oh, now I can take out $10,000 or whatever. It's just like, oh, I can bet a lot bigger, and then it goes a lot quicker, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that until obviously the first check. It was like, oh well, and then I still got to pay taxes on that as well. So like they took $100,000 off the top.
Right.
And then at the end of the year, they're like, "Oh yeah, you still owe $20,000 on top of that." It's just like, so that's where a lot of the other stuff went as well. But like, yeah, it's just like I sent them money, but then I would like say I sent them like $100,000 just to put in an account over here or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I would get my account would be low, and I'd be like, "Oh," I'd text them, "I need you to put this in there." And then next thing you know, like. They tried to tell me no and everything, you know what I mean? But I was like so persistent. I was like, it's my money, you know what I mean?
No,
I was in that
you're
mindset.
an adult. Right?
I was in that mindset. But
sure.
like, so obviously they tried to help me, but like.
So, I mean, now knowing what you know, and I mean, you're still a young guy, right? Really. And, I mean, you ever consider maybe going to schools or talking to younger kids and trying to teach them about financial responsibility?
That's what I want to try to do. I
think you'd be really good at it.
Because I went through it, obviously.
Tell your story. It's painful to tell, I'm sure, right?
Like at first, it was hard to tell. I tried to keep everything under wraps.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, everything came out.
It's better when the Band-Aid's ripped off, because I mean, then you can live your truths, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and then that's what I want to try to do. Like, I want to try to help people, like even the younger guys like from here trying to go to school and go get drafted after. Like I want to help them, because like when I had my first, like I'm with a new agency now, but like when I had the first agent when I got drafted, he basically just got me signed and then didn't even like, he took off. Like your agent's supposed to be there to help you with that financial stuff, but like he was kind of like kind of a scumbag, I guess, because he just basically took the money and ran. And like didn't take me to dinner or anything. Like even when I got drafted, it was like, what the heck?
Wow.
It was just like, I just gave you $30,000. I just gave you $30,000. Like, wow. But he's like, I guess in his mind, if he does that like for 5 or 6 guys every draft, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just like, but yeah. So.
Because I mean, realistically, you kind of have a really great example. Like it doesn't have to just be baseball. Like honestly, like you can talk to every sport. It's relevant. To go and talk to, like, hey, here's how I got in over my head. Learn from me, kind of thing, right?
Sure.
I honestly, I think there's something there. I mean, obviously, you want to make it back to the majors, and that's the main focus. But if for some reason that doesn't happen, like, honestly, I think there's a huge value there. I think
that's strategic money management, right?
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
I think it's a huge thing there. So, like I know another thing, just to kind of give you the opportunity to kind of like also clear some things up, because there was a lot of stuff that was said during that time.
Yeah. People still say stuff like today. Like I see people like out and they're like, "Oh, this guy did this."
Well,
like,
for every guy you hear about, there's probably 12 guys like me that don't know anything and just don't, I mean, just let people make the mistakes and grow and live, man. And so don't worry so much about the negativity.
But I think there's something to it, because like the media report that came out, like I'll be honest. honest with you. I'll tell you right now. Like,
What was the media report?
when I the article that came out about him and they made more than accusations about gambling, and I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'll be the first one to tell you, I read that and I was mad because I was like, here's this young kid who's representing like kind of Nova Scotia in a way, like kind of being in here, and it's like the way the media article portrayed it was like they portrayed you pretty bad.
No, for sure.
Honestly,
that guy's not even. He's not even a journalist anymore because of that story.
Yeah, so going back, like, so you were you stealing stuff or something? Is that what I heard?
That's what they said.
Was
that true?
No.
So here, you know what? You
tell me this part, because I mean, like I only know the hearsay.
For sure.
And a testament. Like, I don't read a lot of sports journalism. A lot of people don't read past the headline.
No,
so
I
they get a sting, they get a nugget of information. That's what I'm like in sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who won? No, okay, done.
Yeah, for sure. That's what a lot of people were like.
Yeah, so not diving deep. Like, so just tell people what happened and what was accused.
Yeah. So what happened was, like, well, why would I need to steal stuff? I had my own deals. I had my own bat deals. I had my own glove deals. I had everything. So I didn't need to steal anybody's stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing that somebody said that I stole, it was kind of funny actually, because Jason Dominguez, Jason Dominguez.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that they said. He's like, and then it was a bat that he gave me because me and him swapped a bat because I just was like whatever because I had a bat and he had a bat. Yeah. And then even right after the story came out, I sent a picture of my message with Jason to the reporter because he didn't come to my side or anything for the story. He just wrote it within 24 hours and just sent it out.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, I didn't even ask him. Yeah,
he didn't have any sources.
That's not journalism.
No, he didn't have any sources.
Right.
So how can you write a story if you have no sources?
What paper was he with?
He was just with it was a tweet. And
Oh, fuck, okay.
It was a series of tweets.
Then it led on to somebody else picking it up and saying the exact same words.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like the same story, but like the New York Post picked up on it. Mm-hmm. But it was his exact article that picked up on it. His exact words that they just put in, like, with their name on it.
Was that article the reason that you were let go from the...
No, I was already let go before then.
Okay,
it's because of the gambling.
It was because of the gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I read a little bit about that, and basically.
So how did they catch on to the gambling to let you go? Like, so was that off the books, or like what happened there?
So what really happened? Like, I want to let everybody know. So like, so I was going to the casino with my friends and everything, and I was obviously I probably didn't have as much money as them. So what got me in trouble
That's the other pressure.
Yeah. Like, I was going with like guys that had way more money than me, which I probably shouldn't have, but. And then I got into trouble when I started borrowing money. That's what it was.
Okay.
So, and then what I would say is I'd be like, oh, let me borrow whatever, 1,000.
Right.
And I'd give you 1,500 back, whatever.
Yeah.
So I would give them the money back, and then I would just keep getting down. That's the real problem. So
of course.
So when they let me go, I owed a couple teammates some money. And then they gave me a time limit. And I couldn't come up with the funds.
So why did they let you go? I don't understand. Like, were you still performing good on the...
Yep. It was just the off-field stuff. It was because I was gambling and I borrowed money. Stuff.
So it's like, we heard that you were doing this, and we just can't have that on our team.
Yeah. And
what about the other guys at the higher levels that were doing it?
Right.
No, but I think it was a team dynamic thing.
It was a team.
But it wasn't even that. It wasn't even people I was on team with. Like, it was just like spring training. Like, it was like I wasn't even on their teams or anything. It was just like, oh, he paid me this money back, but he didn't give me the interest or whatever.
Right.
It's like there was guys that were like I still got messages and stuff from when I was doing it, and they're like, oh, if you don't pay me this day, it's going to be $500 extra a day. Like, they were like loan sharking almost. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I gave them like an original, like, oh, here, I'll give you an extra couple $100 for loaning me.
So
this.
were these MLB players that were
No,
doing
it was
this?
like minor league guys.
There were who guys?
Minor league guys like me.
Okay. Yeah.
But I never talked to any of the big league guys about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like, no. Like,
yeah.
I was dumb, but I wasn't like that dumb. You know what I mean? Because I'd be gone a lot quicker than that.
Hey, Judge, can I get a loan?
But yeah, it got to that point.
That being said, Aaron Judge would probably forget. Yeah. That dude's rolling.
But yeah, and then I remember those like many times when I was at the casino. Oh, here, I'm up this night or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1,000.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to get that, oh no, you're not getting that or whatever. It's just like it doesn't work. It didn't work both ways. Whatever. They just I got down on the money, and then they kind of like. took advantage. I guess not really took advantage, but like kind of. You know what I mean?
I feel sorry because you're just learning social dynamics in a sense too. Like you know, I feel for you, right? Like you're getting out into this whole new world with this whole new kettle of fish you've never dealt with before, and you're getting screwed left and right.
But like, I obviously did it to myself, but that's what I'm trying to learn. And
did, but like, hey, I mean, at the same time, yeah, it's good to take accountability, but also realize that we should try to find ways that we don't put young athletes in these situations in the first place.
Like, so they have people there for like addictions or whatever. Like I was talking to a lady that works with them, and then all she said was, "You need to get help." I'm like, aren't you the person that's supposed to help me?
Yeah.
So like, and then I was like I'm still doing the Gammon on like calls and everything, just to stay on it and everything.
You're still doing what, sorry?
Like Gammon on, like the
Gambling Anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just doing like weekly calls and everything.
Oh yeah, and you should continue forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just you're there to now provide strength to other people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like you should have people there. They should like help like she was just like, oh, maybe you should go out and get a real job. Like that's how she was saying. Like it was just like not really like telling. Like it was weird.
That's messed
she
up.
even like talked to my parents and stuff. Was the same thing, and I was like, well. And then so my last year when I was there in 2022, I was there in spring training, and then when they released me, they held me back into the Florida complex league or whatever, where you still don't get paid. I'm like, well, if you want me to try to pay the debts that I owe.
Right.
Wouldn't you want me to be on a team where I'm making money, not just sitting here and not making money? They're like, oh, we want you to get better. I'm like, well, that's the only thing holding me back is repaying the debts. You know what I mean? Like the year before, I still had 20 home runs. It was like one of my best years. It was just like it wasn't like affecting my play. Like once I got on the field, I just worried about baseball. But like after the field, it was just like I'd be getting calls and texts and everything, like people lighting me up. You know what I mean?
And that comes with a lot of anxiety. Yeah.
For sure.
Right? Like you can just focus on there.
So where you at now? You're debt free?
I'm almost there, yeah. So because it was really deep.
No, but that's good.
I imagine.
Like, honestly,
good for you,
like,
though, man.
It's really like when you think about it, we're talking like 2019 is when you get drafted, and 2020. I mean, it was COVID started just 4 years ago and everything. So I mean, the fact that you're kind of really close to getting cleaned up and even with everybody is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. We on this show love kind of a comeback story. We
100%.
love it.
Yeah.
But and like you said, it's great that you're owning it. I think
that's what I want to do because I want people to like. I know people are still going to talk crap or whatever, but like.
Oh yeah,
they didn't go through it. Like,
don't worry
it
about
was
that.
It's like.
Don't worry.
Like, that's why I
do
want
it
to
better,
just try to clear
and
everything
keep
up.
pushing,
Like,
and I'm sure you'll
especially
fly.
with that first article too.
Yep.
Like I never stole anything in my life. Why would I need to steal? Like it was just like.
I think that was the other thing too, because that's the other. So he was released from the Yankees, and then
so no charges ever pressed on you for stealing anything.
No,
okay,
because there was nothing to steal. And like I even got texts from my from the head of the guys, like when I sent the article to them, and then he said that's not from us, Jake. Yeah. So like it said an inside Yankee source, like who would it be? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
because it didn't say like a source or anything. It just said one unnamed source.
Yeah, you know how articles say like from a source, right? Yeah. So that's basically what it was. But the thing
and then when I came back, Sportsnet came down here last year and did like a whole article on me for a week.
So what was and not reading the Sportsnet article and for people who haven't read it, what was their deliberation when Sportsnet kind of did their own?
They basically wanted to give me like my side of the story too, like so I could like say what was going on and everything as well. Yeah. So like because like I said, the guy that wrote that first article, he's not even writing anymore because he put out an article like. I'm actually like trying to work on like a defamation case right now because it's like not true facts, you know what I mean? So, but the Sportsnet article came out and it was like I was just talking about like what the actual problem was with the gambling and everything, and like trying to fix it and make better, and then just to get my side out because like I said, the guy that wrote the story originally he put it out within 24 hours. Like I left Tampa, I came home for a day, and then I got signed by Ottawa. And I flew to Chicago.
Yeah, that was
and then the next day. Yeah, the next day I was 2 days after I was in Chicago, and I was set to play my first game. And then I was actually out. It was a day game. So right after that day game, I came back in the locker room, and it was just like pandemonium. Like that story came out during the game. So like I didn't know what was going on. And I came in, and then like all my new teammates in Ottawa. Are reading this article and they're like, I didn't know any of them because it was like my first day there. And they're like, oh, what's going on? Who's this guy? Whatever. And then I was just like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So the next day, like I called my coach in Ottawa. I was like, "Can I talk to the team just to like let the air out, like let them know what's going on?"
Yeah,
like,
of course.
So like I stood in front of the team. Like I didn't know any of them still, and it was just like I never stole anything, so don't be worried about that kind of stuff. I borrowed money. Yeah, I won't borrow money from you guys, obviously, but yeah. And then I cleared the air, and then that was like one of the best summers I had.
Yeah.
Like it was really fun. Like it just made playing baseball fun again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
that's what it is. Yeah.
I feel like when I was in the minor leagues, it was like you're fighting like you're buddies, but you're fighting to get a butt. Like
that's true. Yeah, you're all competing each other.
Like there was guys.
Yeah.
There was guys in front of me that were like trying to like get ahead. So that's what they were one up, and they were coming to the other coaches and stuff. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Right.
So what you plan going forward, man?
just try to get back there. I'm signed in Ottawa right now, but there's some rumblings of other teams that talk to me right now.
So sign with Ottawa, is that an exclusive thing, or like, you know, because some leagues have it so that you can like...
It's like an MLB partner league.
Okay.
So actually I can get signed like from any major league team out of there.
You can, okay.
Yeah, so
I wasn't sure if it's like, I'm stuck in Ottawa until, but okay. So you can get out of there. So, I mean, personally, like I said, we like a comeback story, and I know a lot of people that know you in and around the community because you know my sister, and they're, you know, everyone in there is really big in the ball community, and everyone in the ball community local has nothing but like pretty great things to say. At least that's what, you know, has been said to me, kind of thing, right? But, as everyone has great things to say about you, they talk about a lot of the things that you've been doing, even just to kind of give back here and kind of get back to basics. So honestly, even if everything in that article was true, and you know, you stole things and sold it and misrepresented sales of things and all that stuff that was in there, even if all of that was true, that doesn't deserve a life sentence. Like, so I mean, realistically, like, you know, I think you learn from even the mistakes that you did make.
For sure.
And man, I hope you get back there. Honestly,
I do too, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I mean, I hope you find a better place no matter what, right? Like, you know, and teaching people, I think the most underrated thing in the world right now in our school systems, from starting in grade 7, honestly, and for the rest of their lives, they should learn financial strength, acumen, independence. These things they taught us. I mean, I'm not different from you. We had a semester in school, in high school, that I remember, where they focused on it, and we had this bogus thing where we drew numbers out of a hat, and they were like, pick a job, and it's like, you're a vet. No, I'm a fucking vet, right? Like, I did not take that project very seriously. I think I passed the project. I managed to pay my bills. But what a ridiculous way! That's it. Now I'm ready to be an adult.
You know everything.
Not quite, right? And I mean, all the pitfalls and all the true snakes that are out there that want to drag you down, right? And that sounds what happened to you, man. I'm so sorry that happened. And I really am
trying to learn.
Because I
made the mistake, so I can try to help people that don't try to make the same ones.
You've demonstrated yourself as a guy with a high baseball IQ, and I'm sure that transcends into other environments. And you probably said to gambling when you got into it, "Hey, I can win this game, right? I can do this." You confidence. You've earned a lot of money at a very young age, and you went out into the world. So.
And that's, I think, the thing. And even kind of to end this on there is like you may have at one point in time thought that baseball was going to be your life.
Yeah.
But in a weird way, it probably is going to be. It's like baseball might be the thing that propels you. Like I said, we still hope you make it back. We hope you hit all your dreams. Yeah. But baseball might be the thing that propels you to do this, you know, greater good to help out a lot of young people.
For sure.
And if that's the case, that's still baseball.
Still
doing
a great call.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You start a podcast, right? And here they're popular.
If you want to start a podcast, we can produce it.
I can produce it. Yeah, 100%.
Works for me.
First one's free. Yeah. No, but no, I would love for you to do that, right? You can sit down with kids and help them with their financial futures.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Jeez, God, you never know, man. The sky's the limit. So, cheers to you, and thank you for coming to hang out with us.
Good luck.
This is really nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate the honesty more than anything.
For sure.
So thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was great. Yeah.